Everybody, welcome back with the Purplatypus is the name, and today we are going to be talking about the new banner that's just about to drop. It comes out at reset tonight, so in a couple hours from this video going up. They are going to have LilyWill. Is it LilyWill? I get Lily and No mixed up. LilyWill and Alexei are going to be dropping in a duo banner. Now, before we get into the units kits, I want to do like a quick, like, we're not at the, I want to just say something real quick. I want to say something, all right? We're not at the launch of the game anymore, right? This isn't a brand new game where you're re-rolling every single time. So when the game first came out and they had Cole and Beryl on a dual banner, it was a very good idea to pull on those banners because they were, one, very powerful units, but also everyone was re-rolling, so you could get really lucky. And if you didn't get really lucky and you just put some pulls in there, you could go into pity easier. We're at a point now where these are general banner units and they're good, but if you pull on this and you're free to play, or you're a light spender, or even if you're like me, I have 110 pulls right now. If I pull on this, I am less likely to get the next character that comes out that is a new character, or, you know, the character after that, the character after that. So whenever you pull on these banners, you are costing yourself the potential for a new character, and these characters you might just happen to get anyway by pulling on other banners. By basically getting unlucky on another banner and getting this character, you might not get as unlucky because you don't, maybe it'll be your first copy. So both these units are very good, but I'm just saying, for the most part, on the duo banners, they are not going to be worth pulling on unless you are all in on one of these characters. And I don't mean all in with your currency, but I mean like you're mentally like, this is my favorite unit, this is the unit I've wanted the whole time. I just want to use the characters that I like, so let's try to get this one, because you might have to go to 180, you might have to go to 360 to actually get the character, so it's not like, that's not likely. But we're not at the launch, we're not re-rolling. Just be aware that this currency is precious, you know, so don't go throwing it at every single banner that drops. But let's go ahead and talk about the kits here. First, LilyWill. Out of the two, I think LilyWill is probably a little bit worse. It's, again, I don't have either of these characters, so I haven't used them. So again, this is speculation. Take it with a grain of salt. But I think she is still very good. I just don't love her kit. But let's go over here. So she possesses jump, which is actually very good. She's a watcher, so I think she only has 3 movement, but still jump is good. 15% bonus attack, ignores assisting cover, and gains 30% bonus crit. And all cooldown reduces by 1 when attacking from high position. So all cooldowns reducing by 1 when attacking from high position is really fucking good on a lot of characters. I don't think it's like insanely good on her, surprisingly. Like a lot of her stuff is like, yeah, there'll be like long cooldowns, but like either the cooldown is still like 4 turns, so it's not like it's a 2 turn where you get to do it every turn. And for the ones that are 2 turns, or it's like 3 turns, and even if it was like 2 turns, like it would be an energy thing. Like I think like even though it sounds really good, it sounds insane. I think unless there's a way to stack this with a piece of gear, I don't think this is actually that insane of a final part on this specific character. Some characters it would be insane on, but I think with the ability she's given, it's not busted, but it's obviously good. The rest of the trait is pretty good. Ignoring assisting cover, it can be very relevant. Sometimes it does absolutely nothing. Sometimes it's fucking insanely powerful. Jump will help her get the Highland bonus, bonus attack, bonus crit. I mean, it's all good. It's just not like insane. Her signature ability is Cloud Piercing Arrow. I like it when characters have a signature ability like that is unique to them, you know, like especially these legends, like their signature ability is some fucking cool ass thing that only they get. But I'll be honest, this is a very good ability, right? 140% damage, range of 4, curve shot. It's kind of expensive, but it's just a good ability in general. Everyone likes it. So if you come down here, very first thing that we're going to highlight a couple of the abilities here. Gorilla is not unique, but it is very good. Attacks increase by 5%, then you can attack and move. She already has jump, so you can attack and reposition. So you could be out of their range. Now, it has a cooldown of 2 turns, so if this can be reduced, like, that might be her best ability. All skill cooldowns reduced by 1 turn when attacking. I think this is the example of one that could be good. If every single turn you can attack and then move afterwards, that makes you fucking hard to hit, to like actually get attacked. So this could be very, very powerful for sure. I like Gorilla. The worst thing about it is the 2-turn cooldown. So I think this is the main thing that's going to make her seem really good when you have her at 5-star. Windwalking is kind of fucking sick. The maximum range of all range skills is increased by a tile. That is kind of insane, especially when she has I mean, what's the longest range? Is it 4 range? So she doesn't have anything that actually goes to 5 range, so that pushes it to 6. I mean, this is good, but I mean, how good is it? It's kind of tough to say because I'm comparing it to Nungal in my head, which like she gets like +3 and 4 fucking range on all of her range skills. So she is not a actual range, like crazy. She is farther range than most range characters, but it's not like out of this world. Sorry, I just woke up. Arrow of Aeolius. Single target attack. LilyWill deals 60% damage with a curve shot. She deals magical damage equal to 40% of her physical attack to all enemies within 1 tile, inflicting 3 stacks of infection. So, 2 thoughts about this. One, it doesn't specify it to me right here. To me it only sounds like the 40% magic around the character will get infection. Hopefully your individual target will also get the 3 stacks of infection. I assume it would work that way because it would be weird, but if it's only the AoE around it, this ability gets a lot weirder to use because you want to infection does a lot of damage, so you might not want to target with the higher percent of the thing you actually want to do, but I'm just going to assume that the infection applies to everything. In a lot of ways, this can be worse than a Luxite Bomb, because Luxite Bomb has a bigger range, like it attacks extra tiles. In other ways, this is better because Luxite Bomb does 10% max HP, and if you're not going up against insanely high tower enemies, this will do more initial damage. But what's weird I think it's good, but what's weird for this for me is that this is like a combo ability with like characters like Agile Eyes, or I'm sure there's like a whole infection team once you have the legends for it. But it's like infection is damage over time, and this is kind of dealing like a little bit of damage up front, but I don't know. It just like the thing, Luxite Bomb doesn't do that much damage, but you're doing a bunch with the infection. With this, you're doing more upfront damage, but if you're doing more upfront damage, you don't really need the infection as much. Infection by default is not good. Like, and I know I'm an infection fanboy, okay? I'm an infection fanboy, but instead of dealing damage to an enemy after they act, it's better to just use all your damage up front and just kill them. You don't want to do half of your damage up front, half your damage after they get their next action, because then they get to take an action and maybe kill you or do a bunch of damage to you. You want to just kill them. So an ability that does a fuck ton of damage is better than an ability that does a low amount of damage and then a fuck ton of damage, you know? So overall infection is not good unless you're combining it with synergies or you're using it in like specific hard content, right? So I like this ability, but I don't think it's like, it doesn't sound busted to me unless you're trying to push tower or something. Like PvP, PvE, like it could be fine, but again, if you're just, it is AoE, that is something, but I feel like Barrel will just kill things while you're kind of trying to infect them and try to do some sort of combo. Gale Footwork is kind of actually maybe my favorite reaction in the whole game. If you're attacked by a melee attack from the front or side, you interrupt the action, so they don't even get to attack you. You deal 50% physical damage, so you do basically a strike back, but it's like preempt, and then you teleport away. So they don't, you basically, they waste their fucking turn. And again, if you can attack from Highland, not on this ability, but on other turns and make this cooldown go less, this is actually going to be sick. Like, the thing that I think about her trait that's going to be good is if you get that 1 turn cooldown, I mean, here, I think that might literally be like a 5-star thing also. Yeah, the cooldown is a 5-star thing, so most people aren't going to get that. For the most part, you're just going to be getting a little bit of bonus. Man, her fucking 1-star sucks. You get 5% bonus attack, and when attacking from a Highland position, you just ignore assisting cover. Bro, forget that. Here you go. A 3-star, which is reasonable within about a month after getting her. 30% bonus crit. That's still reasonable. Highland is already something you want to be able to do. But I think once you do get her to 5-star, this is the kind, like, Gorilla, the things that actually might not seem exciting. Gorilla constantly is going to make her hard to attack, and Gale Footwork is going to make her fucking impossible to attack. If this is like every other turn, because like you attack from Highland and it, you know, it goes from 4 turns to 3 turns. You attack from Highland, it goes from 2 turns, and then your next turn starts, it goes to, you know, it's done. This is going to make it fucking impossible to actually hit her, combined with Gorilla. Like, very evasive character. The other one is just whatever. Environmental damage taken is decreased by 70%. Just don't take environmental damage, noob. Although, it's funny, a melee character, I would like this, because I would like a melee character that can go up and blow up barrels, because I assume that counts as environmental damage. Yeah, boulder, explosive barrel, but like, a ranged character doesn't need that nearly as much. Leader aura is actually bad. Oh, no. I'm full of shit. I thought I didn't read it all the way. Movement by 1 tile. This is good. All right, there we go. She has a leader aura that gives all Vulder allies 1 movement tile. The issue is I don't think there's that many of them. I mean, they're very top heavy, as you can see here. But giving Momo an extra move, maybe that movement's not that good. It could be, but again, I haven't used these 3 characters, so I don't know how much the movement is. Butterfly doesn't really need the movement that much. This guy moves like he's literally like the fastest unit in the game in terms of like his movement. I think Agile Eyes might benefit from that quite a bit, but overall not super impressed with it. But it is still, the thing is, this sounds good, but again, if this was like a union thing, I think this would be way stronger than already notoriously fast characters. But still, making notoriously fast characters movement wise even have more movement, I mean, that's pretty fucking good. Deals 75% AoE damage to all enemies within a 2-tile radius of the target and inflicts physical defense down for 2 turns. I mean, I fucking love this skill. I think this skill is really, really badass. It does decent damage. It does a great debuff. It has a long cooldown. But, I mean, also, like, early fucking a lot of archers have this ability, so it's not super unique. But, I mean, it's good. It's good. Especially on a character with actually high stats, it definitely gets better. The physical defense down is good. I mean, I think Shooting Stars is probably just better than her actual signature, like, infection one. I think I'm more likely to take Wind Walking to give her more range, and then use Shooting Stars at a range of 4 instead. And again, if you're getting, if at 5-star, this ability becomes better, of course. But let's not talking about 5-star. Single target attack, LilyWill does 120% physical damage. This is just good. Most enhanced attacks do 110%. So doing 120% is just good damage. But it does, I actually think I might like the infectious attack here, but maybe not. This is 85% damage to do 1 stack of infection. I love these attacks. But again, infection isn't like really good in a lot of situations, and just doing like literally 40% more damage is probably just better than doing 1 stack of infection. Now, again, if you're going with the Agile Eyes team, where she has like the ability, if she attacks someone, they have 5 stacks of infection, it instantly pops the infection and they get put to sleep and shit like that. There's some powerful shit to do, but I still think in a vacuum, the infection stuff is much weaker than the just hitting things hard. Marksman is probably kind of sick. All skills ignore Obstinate, which I don't think that is a correct translation. This is the test version of the game, and there's all kinds of like weird issues. But you can increase your attack by 12% and inflicts no assist. But Obstinate here, it appears to be attacks the target, but the attack path is blocked by the enemy or item in front. It sounds like your skills that are not curved shots don't care about line of sight. It gets rid of your line of sight requirement on your normal attacks. So it won't work on Gale shooting, but it'll work on like literally everything else. So if you do take the infectious attack and you take Marksman, your other 2 skills, maybe you bring 1 skill with you, maybe you bring Shooting Stars and Wind Walking, or Arrow and Wind Walking, something like that. This one will bait. Oh, that already is a curve shot. Maybe it's not that good. Maybe it's like literally for Shooting Stars, honestly. Or this ability as well. Single target attack. She does 150% damage. Great. Inflicts 2 stacks of infection. Great. which immediately triggers the infection effect. Great. Before attacking, she gains Highland advantage. Everything about this Gale is clearly her best ability in the game. This thing kills shit. This is deals a fuck ton of damage. So if the idea is like you're dealing, right, you use this ability to give them 3 stacks of infection, and then maybe you attack them, and then you use this. This doesn't really work. It's not self-contained. You're not going to get a bunch of stacks of infection self-contained. But if you have someone else do some stacks of infection, I mean, this could kill anyone in the game. This might have potential, like in PvP, to one-shot nearly any unit in the game, because 150% damage is a lot. You're guaranteed to get the Highland advantage. And if someone has a Luxite Bomb style ability where they just throw 3 infection on a character, and then you attack, and then you do 150% damage, and you do fucking 5 stacks of infection damage on them immediately, and then it'll only drop down to 3, so they'll still have 3 stacks of infection on them, because I think it rounds up, if I remember correctly. This ability is fucking super strong. This is like a really, really good ability. So let's kind of go over, you know, just to summarize her kit. I think this character is a little awkward. I think she kind of has this infection sub-theme, but I don't think it actually really works that much until you get enough legends where, like, if you have LilyWill, No-No-Will, you know, Agile Eyes, and you have all these, infections sub-theme characters, I think you can get a team going. But other than that, I think you're going to be better served just doing the kill shit, doing the shooting stars. Like, what am I going to use? I mean, Gorilla is really good, but I don't know if I'm going to use Gorilla if you only get 3 skills, right? I'm probably not going to be using Windwalking. I mean, I want to have access to her Gale Break, but I want to be able to use a better attack more than once every 4 turns. So I'm also going to be using Shooting Stars, probably, because these are the abilities I really like. And then I'll probably end up using Windwalking to attack from a further range, because that's kind of her deal. And then I'm probably using Gale Shooting in between that, because 120% is not an attack to be ashamed of, especially when you're doing it at a range of 4. I think that's kind of the kit I'm going with for her. I'm not crazy impressed, but she's good. There's no doubt. I think she has a couple teams that she'll fit into, but I think you're going to have the most success just using her as a kill shit with that ultimate ability. Once you get up here, you get this. This is one of the best single target attacks I've seen in the game for sure. And it already has a range of 4, so it goes up to a range of 5. Yeah, and she's fucking hard to kill. She's not tanky, but she is hard to get your hands on. So, I don't know. Out of 10, out of tier ranks, let's say she's a B tier. She's a high B tier probably for me. Maybe a low A, if you have more Valder allies. Alexei here. Alexei's whole thing is they're basically fucking hard to kill. Like, they're really hard to kill. A lot of their stuff is gonna be like, I think Alexei might have an issue in PvP versus PvE. I think PvE, this character is going to be they are probably absolutely busted because they're hard to kill. I do think in PvP, they might have an issue. They're not any easier to kill, but I feel like the damage output doesn't sound, from what I've read, it doesn't look high enough where you need to focus this character down, where it's like you could probably leave this character to last and just outnumber them so they can't do anything. They don't feel like they're a must-kill threat, but they are going to be hard to kill. So, becomes immune to resolve, which means, you know, that's same thing as Guzman has. Basically, they can't turn off your ability to self-revive. Attacks increased by 10%. We could also look at the 5-star. Maybe I should use the 3-star as the baseline, because that's about a month in, and usually you get most of the power there. Your attack increased by 15%, and you ignore Frosty Tiles. Ignoring Frosty Tiles is a very powerful effect, especially if you're actually using Frosty Tiles. It basically removes movement from your opponent, and it does not do that from you. That's pretty good. Unlimited resolve. So a lot of this is translated in a way that I don't fully understand exactly how it works, but I'll give you my interpretation. You possess unlimited resolve, which is a thing basically when you die, you come back to life. How much life do you get? I don't fucking know. I have no idea. Until the start of the next turn, dispel 2 debuffs and gains toughness. Worth noting that you possess unlimited resolve, and then what this implies to me, until the start of the next turn, because it says you possess this ability until the start of the next turn, which makes no sense to me. I think this means when this triggers, when Unlimited Resolve actually triggers, until the start of the next turn, you dispel 2 debuffs and you gain toughness. Your trait attribute is then doubled, and this effect has a 7-turn cooldown. So your trait attribute, which I believe is the 15% attack, probably becomes 30% attack, and you gain toughness for the next turn, and then you don't die. So very, very good. Obviously, when you get up higher, like he actually gets, you know, for 2 turns in a row, which is insane, and then he gets 40% bonus attack with his triggers. 15% bonus attack is already fine. I mean, it is magic attack too, which is important because he actually has a skill that does magic attack. But this is just like, he's gonna be hard to kill unless he revives with like literally 1 HP, and he just it's like, if it's a resolve level and it's 5%, but I assume unlimited resolve is going to be more than normal resolve. But yeah, basically this is gonna let him revive himself, and then he gets toughness. Now, the way that this is worded implies to me he only gets toughness after unlimited resolve, which I actually think is pretty, can be kind of a big deal, because it means like you don't get toughness until you've already died once, and toughness is pretty important to keeping characters that are low on life alive in general, because you take so much more damage and you deal so much less damage. So if you get this guy low and then you just don't kill him, like I feel like he could kind of fumble around. But he does have this really cool signature ability, Whirlwind Axe. You deal 90% damage to all enemies within 2 tiles around himself. For every enemy defeated by this skill, it reduces the trait effect cooldown by 1 turn. So instead of 7 turns, you kill 2 things, it goes down to 5 turns. Is that actually that good? I don't know if that actually is going to be that relevant most of the time, but still 90% AoE as a signature ability. It's kind of cool because it's unique. It's kind of expensive. I don't think it's a great skill, but I do think it is kind of, I like it when I see a character have an ability like this that's unique to them, as a starting thing. So quickly to kind of go over their kit here, they get Fight to the Death, which I think is kind of terrible, probably. When dying, increase attack and defense by 20%. If this character always possess toughness, maybe this would be a bit better. But when you don't have toughness initially, if you're dying and you're taking like, it's like 30% more damage and dealing 30% less damage, like this is way less good. So you have to like die and come back, get toughness for 1 turn to then get this. It doesn't seem very good to me. Leg Slam is good, very ununique. It's on a lot of characters, but it is whatever. Both of these skills are unlikely to make it onto your hotbar once you get to a high enough rank. IMO. Rank 3 is where things actually get interesting. Wild Howl is a unique skill here. Deals damage equal to 40% of your magic attack. That means this does very little damage. It is piercing damage, so it ignores all defense, but it is scaling off your magic attack. Your trait does increase that, but it's only 40%, and this character is going to be mostly physical, but it is something. I mean, it's still like, it's kind of interesting for a big debuff. All enemies within a 3-tile radius get move -2 and attack down 3. That's a fucking great debuff. It lasts for 2 turns. Characters get -2 movement. AoE -2 movement is pretty good, because even the a lot of the ice attacks that you hit characters with do like -1 movement in an AoE. But a lot of times you could do ice tiles, which kind of compound that. But there's characters like this that are immune to ice tiles. So this is actually a great skill, because it's not that it does a lot of damage, but like this character wants to be attacked, and we'll get into that, because one, they revive themselves, right? But they have other skills that make them want to be attacked, and this makes everyone deal way less damage, like 30% less, and they can't move nearly as far. So if you're up in their face, you hit this howl, you might be the only target they can target, and AI is going to target you then. And even player versus player, most players will choose to attack as opposed to not attack, right? Instead of skipping your whole turn. So if you're the only character they can hit because you've lowered their movement, and maybe this is your main frontline unit and a lot of your other units are further back, I think that this is actually going to be a super core ability. It's going to be hard to fit it on the bar, but I think this ability is really good. I think it's good in a non-obvious way, because it's a soft taunt in a lot of ways. Burning Bridges, this is also on, I think, Outlaw Axeman or something like that. Fucking insanely good ability. Now with a character with good stats, it's going to be even better. 150% damage, but before you attack, you also get a 40% attack boost of your character's defense. You do take more damage, but who cares? You get a huge attack boost. You get a huge hit. The hit isn't like 150% is good, but the fact that you get a big physical attack boost is really what makes it really good. And you have 100% uptime because 2 turns, which is good. It is expensive. You're going to have to, like, you don't have 100% uptime in that regard. Reaction is, this is just one of the better reactions in the game for sure. It's the same exact as all the other ones, like counterattack where you strike back, but it can happen 2 times per round. So if he gets attacked twice per round, he gets the counterattack twice per round. So again, this is kind of a theme here that you're going to see as you get higher up on the skill tree, that you want to be attacked. This is the very first ability where I'm like, oh yeah, I want to be attacked 2 times every turn to get max value out of this. Or even this and doing vulnerable is fine, but I probably want to attack, especially when we get to rank 7 here. So you select one enemy with a cross shape range to charge, you deal 50% damage, and you inflict stun on any target in this range. Pretty good. Then you do ice AoE damage to all enemies within 2 tiles around the target, and you gain Warrior of Frost. Again, this ability, if I use this ability, it's probably going to replace the Wild Howl, because this does move -2, attack -3. This inflicts stun, and it does do AoE ice. So this should turn, with that ice tag, it should do all these tiles should turn to ice. And when you're on ice, you reduce damage taken by 30%, and you actually get further movement. So I feel like Anger of Icefield and Wild Howl are going to kind of, they're going to fight for the same spot where you're getting in their face and you're making them have to attack you. I am not sure which one's going to be better. This one might be better because it has a shorter cooldown, but this one only costs 1 energy. So I'm not sure, but they both are going to do the same thing. They're going to affect enemies' movements. And I actually, like, again, I know it's weird because stun is insane, but I don't know if I care about inflicting stun on this character when kind of a low % damage. This probably does more damage. This scales off your attack, right? This doesn't, but this is piercing. So I don't know. I'm kind of torn that these are both very similar abilities in my mind. And this actually hits in a bigger area, but you don't get the bonus of being able to charge. But either way, Gore Drinker. This is probably, this ability is insane. After being attacked, you gain Gore Drinker for 2 turns. After being attacked, you want to be attacked. Look at this ability. Increase damage by 20% and grants 20% lifesteal. This effect can stack 3 times. This thing is fucking sick, bro. You get if you get attacked 3 times, you get 60% damage and 60% lifesteal. On top of the fact that you already fucking, when you die, you pick yourself fucking back up. You've got brute. So if you get attacked twice, you're also counterattacking and healing yourself while you're going. You're also fucking using Burning Bridges and just hitting really, really big on top of your 60% bonus damage. I think Gore Drinker's fucking sick. I think this ability is his strongest ability. But you got to be attacked. It is hard to have an ability based on the fact that an enemy has to do something. So against AI, I think this ability is going to be busted. I think Gore Drinker, just combined with Brute Bear Counter, is going to be busted, honestly. But I do think against PvP, they might just not attack you. Like if they get in here and they debuff you, you might just ignore them, or you might try to kite the guy because he doesn't have like insane movement unless you have the charge. So I'm not entirely sure, but PvE, I think Gore Drinker is going to be one of the best abilities. Frenzied Slash, 110% damage. If you defeat a target, you get some energy. That's pretty cool. It's probably better. Sometimes getting energy is probably better. A lot of his abilities have like cooldowns that are like pretty long, so I don't know if that's like super vital, but let's take a look at the top one here. Guard, kind of lamed if you actually pick guard at level 11, but it does help him get attacked. I'll be honest, it helps him get attacked, so this ability is good, but I still think you're going to be using either a Wild Howl or a Anger of Icefield to kind of fuck up their movement, where they're kind of forced to attack you then, like with AI. This ability would probably be, it could actually be pretty good again in the PvP, because like they're forced to attack him whether they want to or not, at least once per turn. It's going to cause him to become a much bigger nuisance. It's a great ability, but it is hard to find the spot for that on the hotbar. Counter Attack Storm. The character's strike back range is increased by 2 tiles. When performing strike back, physical damage is increased by 85%, and the character gains 1 strike back count and counterattack, what is counterattack? When being attacked from an enemy from the front or side within attack range, performs a strike back once per round. Yeah, right. It is interesting that you gain counterattack because you already are going to probably have, I guess it's in case you took curse instead of the brute bear counter. But you get to do 3, if you're using brute bear counter, you get 3 strike backs a turn. This lasts for 2 turns. You get a counterattack at a range of 3. And when performing a strike back, the physical damage is increased by 85%. Again, you want to be attacked. This character in PvE, I think, has the potential to be one of, especially at rank 11, as be one of the strongest PvE characters in the entire game. Absolutely thick, especially with this gore drinker stacking. It's going to be so fucking hard to kill this guy if he gets 60% lifesteal, and every time you attack him within a range of 3, he fucking counterattacks with not 70%, but an 85% boost to 70%. Bro, this guy is going to be if 3 times per round, this guy's going to be a fucking menace in PvE. And then if you don't kill him, he's going to have burning bridges, and he's going to debuff you. This character seems kind of fucking super strong, bro. I think Alexei is, if Alexei was a new character, like they just dropped, I would say pull them, for sure. But since they are in the standard banner, I do think this is a character you should consider passing on, because there is a reasonable chance you will get them eventually just by playing the game and doing lots of pulls over time. They're going to be on every banner, like as a possible thing you can get for the rest of the game's life. So, and you don't need a bunch of, you only need 1 copy in order to get up to 3 stars pretty reasonably and get the toughness trait. The toughness trait is huge. I think without toughness, like, I think if he had toughness all the time, this character might be like completely broken, honestly. But honestly, at level 1, you still have the revive, you still have the attack, you're still going to have most of the good things of their kit. But yeah, overall, longer video than I wanted to do, but we did a breakdown of both these characters. I might do some builds for them if I pull them myself, but I think I'm passing on this banner just because I'm running low on currency. But we'll see. We'll see if how the content creator things go, and if I get a bunch of currency started in the next month. Anyway, for now, guys, that's going to be everything. Purplatypus is Purplatypus. I'll see you on the flip-flops. Bye! Platypus.